Hey, I'm Harrison.
I'm Dan.
This is the first anatomy exercise. All right, let's go into it. Very first thing you got to know is anatomical position. Dan, can you demonstrate anatomical position for me?
So we're going to stand up like this. So you're going to have your palms completely outstretched. And you're going to just stand regular. Just like that.
Cool, just like that. You heard it here first. All right, moving on. Part 2, anatomical planes. So this is like if you were to cut things, what type of symmetry is there, and how many different ways can you cut something? So we first have sagittal. A sagittal body plane is if I were to cut Dan straight down the middle. Then we have frontal planes. So Dan, maybe turn for me. Thank you. It's if we were to cut Dan straight down like this, separating an anterior from posterior view. Then the last one is transverse, and that is if we were just cut Dan straight in half, separating this one and that one. Top to a bottom, a superior to inferior. Great. Yeah, we're just relearning all these terms too. Great. It actually brings us into part 3, directional terms. So I guess we will crank this out. So let's talk about directional term, superior. What does that mean, Dan?
Superior means above, while inferior means below.
Inferior is the opposite to superior. All right. Next, medial versus lateral. This is good to use our model for. What do we got here?
So right here, your sternum, which is your just breastplate right here. So that is mesial to your body. While on the opposite side, lateral is coming from the outside of the middle.
So yeah, in class we'll say some things are medial, so that means something's going towards the center, or we'll say something's a lateral, away from the center. Great. Next we have dorsal. Dorsal's pretty easy. Because we're not like a tetrapod, like a dog or other tetrapods, not many examples. Because we're not like on 4 legs all the time, there's going to be a few terms that mean the same thing. So dorsal and posterior are going to be used synonymous with one another, and anterior and ventral will also be synonymous when talking about human anatomy. So just wanted to make that note. Let's go into the dorsal. The dorsal is
just right on the back. Same with posterior. While on the opposite sides, we have the anterior and the ventral.
Perfect, and we'll touch on that again when we get there. Oh, next one, distal. Distal, and what's the proximal? Nice.
Yep.
So let's do it.
So distal is just the farthest part from the body. So if we have your elbow right here, your hand is distal from your elbow. While on the opposite end, your shoulder, let's do this part of the arm, would be proximal to the elbow.
Cool. Next, posterior and anterior. So one more time. Posterior.
Anterior.
Perfect. Pop quiz for you. What is synonymous with posterior? Go. Dorsal. Cool. Next, superficial and deep. All right, this is good. We'll get to this more when we're talking about the integumentary system, but now we're talking about like layers of your actual skin and your organs and how it works. So superficial means like we're talking on the skin surface, so the hairs of my arm are very superficial. What's deep would be all my muscles and veins and fat, all inside my arm. So all that stuff's deep to the tissue or deep to my hairs or whatever. And then next one, ipsilateral and contralateral. Contralateral.
Yep. So ipsilateral. So if I stood up, my left and right arms and legs would be ipsilateral. While on the opposite end, if I went kind of a starfish, this arm and this leg would be contralateral. Hey guys, me and Harrison are back.
We're going to go into part 4 of section A and do anatomical regions. So let's start with the first part, axial.
So that's going to be right here. So this is your head, neck, and trunk, which is right here.
Axial. Next, we have the appendicular or appendicular.
Also known as the appendages, and that includes your arms and your legs.
So, core, appendages. Nice. Now let's get into very specific regions. Cephalic.
That's your head.
Great. Cranial.
Your skull.
So, top of the head. Facial.
That's right here. As it states, just your face.
Just your face. Frontal.
Forehead.
Cool. Buccal.
It's actually buckle.
Or buckle.
Gonna just state that right now.
You know, it's
right
still a debate. Your cheek. I was like, yeah, you're the one TA that also disagrees with that. All right, great. Where do we leave off? Cervical.
That's right here on your neck.
Cool. Be even more fun when you learn the vertebrae. Thoracic.
That's just your chest.
And abdominal.
That's your abdomen right here.
I'll cut out these arms. Pelvic.
Pelvic. That is your pelvis. So right down here.
Pelvis. Nice. Sternal.
Sternum.
Axillary.
Auxiliary. So that's your armpit. Just right here.
I'll do the thumbnail for the video. What do we leave off? Acromial.
That's going to be the top of your shoulder, just right here on both sides.
Brachial.
Brachial. That is your upper arm and bicep. Next we have
Antecubital.
Yep. That's just the front of your elbow.
Wait, do that one more time.
Wait, front. Anatomical. That's right.
So right here. Next we have the antebrachial.
So ante means front. So brachial's right here. Antebrachial's going to be this one.
Carpal.
Carpal tunnel, right? Wrist.
Palmar.
Palm.
Digital. Inguinal. Here we go.
So right here, your inguinal is going to be right in the groin. So in other words, it is right up here, if that is enough information as you. Harrison, if you'd like to extrapolate on that.
It's just the most groinal part of your body, and that's all we're going to say about that right now. Well, you'll get into that in A&P too.
Oh,
all right. All right, pubic. Don't worry, we're still down there.
That's going to be specifically your genitalia.
Next, femoral.
That's your thigh. And so on the model, we can bring this guy right up here.
Coxal.
Coxal. So that's going to be your hip. And that's these guys right here, these nice big bones right there.
Patellar.
Kneecap.
Crural.
It's going to be your lower leg.
Tarsal.
Tarsal, that's going to be just right here on your ankle. Perfect.
It's the carpals of your foot. All right, pedal.
You pedal a bike with your foot, right?
Occipital. Oh, we're just going right back up there.
Let's turn this guy around here. So that's going to be right here at the base of the skull.
Scapular.
So that's going to be right here, your shoulder blades.
Manual.
Manual is going to be your hands. Manual labor, right?
It's in your whole hand. Quick note, some of these regional terms will be like broader and some will be more specific. You'll figure it out as you go along, don't worry. Lumbar.
So that's going to be your low back, and once we get into the spine, we're going to divide this into your different areas of this, but your lumbar is going to be down here. So chairs are made for lumbar support, so lower back.
Next, sacral or sacral.
Yep, and that's just going to be right here. So this is your tailbone, and it's going to be just this area below your lumbar.
Gluteal.
That's your butt.
But perineal. Man, we're still down there.
So this one's going to be right in between your anus and scrotum.
All right. Popliteal.
The best way to remember this is when you pop your knee, it's going to be right here. So your knee pops, popliteal.
Calcaneal.
So that's going to be the base of your foot right here.
And plantar.
And plantar is the bottom of the foot. You can see my foot's a little bit bigger than Harrison.
Oh my God. Hey everyone, it's Dan and Harrison.
No way.
Whoa. All right, so we're now still in Section A. We're in Part 5, anatomical regions. quick thing to make it easier for you guys. We're going to cut some of this material out. So what you will need to know and what you don't need to know. Just real quick on the what you don't need to know. We're not going to get into regions. I'm just going to ask you about quadrants. So will Dan, just to make it a little bit easier for you, mostly because we'll get into this information in AMP2 more than you will in AMP1. So yeah, quadrants. What to know.
So the easiest way to remember this, so right here, as Harrison's kind of holding it, so this is your right side of your body, this is your left. In other words, right, left, it's all based on you. So to make it easy on you guys, we're only going to give you 2 organs that fit all 4.
Excuse me,
So
male needs your attention.
Shit, it is doing everything over here. Here, one second. I'm going to fucking break this computer in half. All right, keep going. No, sorry. Yeah.
So right side, we have your ascending colon, and that's all on your right side. So right lower, right upper, all ascending colon. Now you guessed it, left side, descending colon. That's going down straight through your left upper and lower. And that's your body regions for you.
As long as you know one of those, that's all we care about. So, check those boxes. All right, and then really quick, we're also going to be cutting all of Part 6 of Section A, so just don't even worry about the body cavities. Just don't even think about them. They don't exist. Hey, everyone. Scott Taylor and Harrison here. We're going to give you the quick overview of Part B. So Part B is organ system overview. We don't do organ systems in this class. It's going to be more so in AMP2, but we touch on a few right now. So what we're going to have you do for this part is just know one major organ and one major function of each organ system. And Dan and I here are just going to share with you, one thing from each thing, I guess. So cardiovascular, let's say a major organ is your heart, and the function is circulates and regulates blood and transport nutrients.
Absolutely. And then for digestive, what we're going to have is your mouth or esophagus. And what this is just going to do is it extracts nutrients from food, and that's perfect.
Cool. Endocrine, let's just say, I don't know, this is going to be your glands. So something like a thyroid gland, and the big thing is it's going to be producing chemical messengers that are carried via blood, which direct and activates different organ systems.
Rolls off the tongue,
I'm
right?
definitely not reading that off of something on my computer.
So your integumentary is your skin. That's the first time I've ever said that right my first time.
Good word.
That's an external barrier for protection.
Lymphatic and immune system. This is going to be something like your tonsils, and it's going to be collecting and transporting lymph, will maintain body fluid, and fights infection. Woo.
So your muscular system, coincidentally, has your muscles. So I'm huge, as you can see, and that includes just all muscles right here. And what that does is it just protects your body from external forces and movement.
Great. Then we get into our nervous system, which will be something like your brain, your spinal cord, and then just any nerves in your body. And this is going to be what directs actions of the body. It's a real brief way of summing that up.
So your reproductive system is just your genitalia, and what that does is it enables reproduction.
Right. Respiratory system. Let's say your lungs. It's going to be adding oxygen to blood and removing CO2.
And so your skeletal system, so that's your bones, what that does provides structure and allows for motion, just like your muscle system.
Wonderful. Then you have the urinary and excretory system. That's going to be like your kidneys. This is going to be filtering water and filtering other products from your blood. Yeah. Perfect.
Perfect.
Great. All right, that's it for Part B. Good luck out there. Hey everyone,
Hi.
I'm Nate. This is Jacob. All right, so we're on Part C. That's going to be the microscope. We're going to kind of give you a lowdown on the vocabulary and anatomy of this thing, then explain some field of view on the board. Big first notes, though, is that you will never be tested on microscope anatomy. We just, we use this a lot because we use the microscope a lot in class. So we just want to make sure that you guys understand what you're using on the microscope, so hopefully it's a little bit easier for you to navigate it. I'm sure a lot of you have probably already even used a compound light microscope, but if not, it's super easy to pick up, and we're happy to teach you. So we'll start with the very first thing on here, which I guess is our eyepiece, our ocular lenses, as people call them. Your ocular lenses are these things right here. This is going to be where you put your eyes through. Important note, ocular lenses, most of the time will have a magnification on them in addition to your objective lenses. We'll talk about that in a minute. But your ocular lenses have a 10x magnification.
And to compound on that, so what we're going to do is we have our knobs in the back right here. So this is your fine, and this is your great. So I'm going to turn this around just a little bit better.
Do it again.
So
New cut.
So right here, fine. Right here, this is going to be your coarse. So what that does is this gives you the big thing. So when we start off at the lowest magnification, you get this clear with the coarse, and let's see how this brings us up and down, while the fine gets you that clear cut.
It's fine adjustments.
Fine adjustment.
Great. So far we've hit on the lenses, or one set of lenses, how you focus. Let's talk about where you put your sample. If you're going to put your sample on the stage all the time, whenever you put a sample on the stage, I'm going to kind of angle this towards you guys. All you got to do is move the stage arm down and place the sample into these perfectly made slide grooves right here. And then make sure that you just slowly close the arm back on the slide and make sure that the arm isn't sliding below or above the slide. Every time I see you undergrads do that, I just want to break your necks. Anywho, just don't do that. And it goes super smooth from there. I guess taking condenser lens. You got that, buddy?
Absolutely. So right here's your condenser lens. And so we're not going to actually be touching that.
You never touch this
whatsoever.
thing.
Try not to.
Here, I'll get some gaffing going on. All right, so
So right there, condenser lens, it's a clear piece of glass. What it does is it just makes sure that it concentrates the light. Well, on the opposite end, right here's your iris diaphragm lever, and what that does is concentrates the light further with an adjustment dial. And so what that does just increases aperture light.
we will sometimes touch this in class. It's pretty cool, fun to play with. Doesn't do anything wrong. Great. Now we are on the objective lenses. So remember, we had our ocular lenses up here. The objective lenses, these are the guys that are going to be changing your magnification. These are the ones that you'll be manually moving a lot. There are 4 lenses on here. You will only use 3 of them, and there's an order to how you use them. You'll always go from smallest to largest every time you're doing a sample, because not only is that the safest way, that's the only way to ensure that we don't break slides, but it also just greatly simplifies finding something on the microscope. So the very first one you have here has a red line on it. That is called your scanning objective lens. The scanning objective lens has a magnification of 4x. We go, I guess that would be, is that clockwise or clockwise?
Clockwise.
Clockwise. You go clockwise, then we have this low power objective lens, which has a yellow line on it. The low power has a magnification of 10x. Rotate one more time, you'll then have the high power objective lens, which has a blue line on it. That has a magnification of 40. And then the very last one, we will never use this. It's an oil immersion lens, has a white line, has a magnification of 100. Now, okay, we have magnifications here, like 40 on the low, or 40 on the high power, 10 on the low power, and 4 on the scanning. There's going to be something called total magnification. I think we touch on that later, so maybe I just won't even mention. Yeah, we're not even. I'm just going to cut that. That never happened. And that was your oil immersion lens. As you rotate through, I have nothing else to say. Those are the lenses. Take it away, Dan, with the nose piece.
So your nose piece, what this does, just adjust the lenses. So what able to do that is you can spread it. If you have wider eyes like me, you need to spread it. If you have tiny eyes, pull it close together. And as you can see from this angle, really close to my eyes way out here.
Dan's like a hammerhead shark.
Exactly.
Hey gang, Harrison and Dan here one more time. We're going to go through section C, part 3, which is just your depth of field, field of view, and okay,
Yeah.
recut.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, here we are on part 3 of section C. We're going to be going into total magnification, explain a little bit of field of view, and then lightly touch on depth of field afterwards. Dan, take it away with total magnification.
So total magnification is seen with our objective lenses, which are the lower ones, as stated before. So this is your 4 times, your 10 times, and your 40 times. While also your ocular lenses, which are right here, that you see through. So your total magnification is going to be these times this. So 4 times whatever your ocular lens magnification is, and in this case it is 10 times. So our 4 times objective lens will now be multiplied by 10 for ocular, which makes a total magnification of 40 times. So if we move the objective lenses, this is going to change to 10 times, Our ocular lens never changes, so it's always going to be 10 times. So it'll be 10 times 10, which gives us a total magnification of 100.
Great. And then we'll leave you guys with that high power and see if you can multiply 40 times 10. Good luck out there. Last thing we're going to explain is field of view. All right, cool. So what you see behind me is, thank you, Dan. If you were to look through a scanning objective lens, literally the amount of space that you'll be able to see from one side of, when you're looking through the microscope to the other side, it's going to be a diameter of 2.3 millimeters. And that's like a known thing. You're physically able to see that. So you have this known variable. You have this known variable. It's a total magnification of 40x. However, when you then zoom into your low power lens, you're now in a total magnification of 100x. You don't necessarily know that fixed field of view. So all you got to do is cross multiply. So what we're going to do here, it's this kind of C1V1 equals C2V2. It's just simple cross multiplication. So on one side we have this 40 times our 2.3 millimeters is going to equal 100x and this unknown. So let's solve for it. That sounds good. All right, now that we all did our math, what that unknown field of view will come out to is about 1.1 millimeters. So that's just cross multiplying, and yeah, you have this known 2.3, and then you just cross multiply for all the lenses, and you find your field of view. Great. And then I guess we have one more thing to explain, and then Dan and I will just kind of trip through this here. It's depth of field. Depth of field explains, the ability of how you're able to tell how far one object is from something else. And what you'll see is that when you zoom in, that depth of field will change. So when you're zoomed out super far, so if you're using like a 40x lens opposed to a 100x lens, when you're on that 40x lens, it's a lot harder to tell how close something is in front of another object. But when you zoom in even tighter to like 100x or 400x, you'll be able to clearly see that one object is in front of another object, even if it's just by a fraction of a millimeter. And so what we're just trying to say is when you increase your magnification, you increase your depth of field. They're proportional. All right. Well, hey, everyone. That's lab 1. I'm Harrison.
I'm Dan.
Thank you.